Okay, so today we are going to be working on digital rendering. Digital rendering is just like hand rendering, except you're going to have the computer do the work for you. Okay? I am going to just go, and first thing we want to do is we want to set up a view so we can look at what the stage looks like. Okay? And, oh, the pit is turned off. Let's turn the pit back on. Okay? Make sure you have this looking the way you would like it to look. And we want to do this in a perspective view. Okay, we talked about this before, but we're going to go view, rendering, or sorry, projection, perspective. And we'll adjust our stuff so we get a good view. Okay, and I'm adjusting this so that it's the size of my paper. And oops. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And get a view that you like. Okay, and let me just zoom in on this so we can see it. And I'm just going to run a quick, this isn't really a render, this is just a hidden line view so we can get an idea of what this looks like. Okay. And this takes some time because remember it's building everything, it's rendering it out. Oh, Shift Command E is it? Shift Command, no, Shift Command. Shift Command E is quick render. Okay, and here's what the set looks like. Okay, anyone know what these dots floating in midair are? Those are my focus points. Okay, you probably don't want those in your rendering because oddly enough they cast shadows. So I would turn them off. Okay. And actually, I'm going to make a couple changes. So I'm hitting escape so it stops the render. Maybe. Nope. My computer's just really being grumpy today. By the way, when you're doing a lot of this rendering, the computer tends to be grumpy. I always joke that it obviously can tell how stressed you are. And what we want to do is we want to get this view so the set is looking the way we want it to look. Okay? Where we want our rendering to look. Okay? Okay, and if I think that's pretty good, I can say, you know what, I don't really need to see these lights up here. Okay? And I can have a really cool view. Okay? Once you have your cool view, we want to save our view. Okay? So view, save view. Okay, and I'm going to call this my digital rendering. Okay, it's going to save it's going to save everything. Just have everything clicked. Okay. Now there are a couple things that I should be going back in and doing now, but I'm not going to, so that we can move on. When we're doing a rendering, what should be there? What's not in this rendering that should be there? People. You all remember how to put people in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Good. So you're going to put people into this. Okay. Okay, so I've saved my view, and I want to show you where I can find my view. Okay, this is where we get our classes, our layers. If we come all the way over here to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th tab, we have a set of views, okay? And, you know, for Chuck, for Janine, this is one of my old files, so it's got things. And for Chuck, that would be, it's a view I set up for showing for our director, Chuck, or for Janine. Front on, better, front on, wider set, whatever. Okay, so Chris's digital rendering is what I called this. Okay, so I can be working on stuff. I just want to show you this. So I'm going to pop back to my top view, okay, and I can, okay, I'll put in a person real quick. Okay. Stamp collecting, okay? I put a person, now watch what happens. When I click on Chris's digital rendering, when I double click on it, I come back to here, okay? I recommend setting this up in wireframe because it'll just make your life a little bit easier. So, now what we want to do is we want to see what this is going to look like with the lights on, okay? What do we have to do? Turn some lights on, okay? And I have no idea what this light plot looks like anymore, so I'm just going to pick some lights and turn them on. Okay, I'm shift clicking on a bunch of lights. And I right click or control click on a Mac, and I'm going to come down to turn light on. Okay? What I have just done is I've turned the light on, I've turned it on at full. Okay, this is just what we're going to start with, okay? I'm going to come back to Chris's digital rendering, and has anything changed? No, because this always is going to come back and look just like this. I mean, something has changed because our person is there, because I added our person, okay? What I now need to do is I need to render this, and I need to render this so I can see it with the lighting. That's going to be View, Rendering, and we can do a Fast RenderWorks, okay? You can also do a Final Quality RenderWorks. Which do you think takes more time? Final Quality, okay? I'm going to do Fast RenderWorks. Okay, it is now going to calculate all those lights. It's going to calculate what the set looks like. Okay? Let's zoom in at this so we can kind of see how this looks. And that's what my set looks like. Okay? Now, is that what I want this show to look like? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Does it do coloring? Yes, it does. Here is the catch with it. Okay? I'm going to go back to our lights here, the ones I turned on. Okay? They are Rosco 980. No, they're not. That is not a Rosco color. So they showed up in white because it didn't know what color it was. Okay? Because 980 is not a Rosco color. I mean G980. Let's see. I'm going to go back to Chris's digital rendering and have it render this. Rendering. Fast RenderWorks. Let's see if they are, because 980 is a purple. Ah, yes. Okay. It had the color in it. Okay. Zoom in on this and look at this. Okay.
So, like, if we have, like, if all those lights were all different colors, then it would do.
It would show. Oh yes, it would show every color the way it looks. Okay.
So does VectorWorks like say you had a red wall?
Uh-huh.
You put like a contrasting color like on it, would it change the color of the wall?
Yes. Yes, it would.
But it changes it the way it would in real life?
It changes it the way it would in real life to the best of the computer's ability to calculate it. Okay? So yeah, that, you know, doesn't look bad. That's cool. Okay? If VectorWorks did not have the light color in it, okay, I'm going to go back to my top view, go down to these lights I selected, and they're still selected. Okay? I'm going to right-click on them or control-click, and I can, is it edit light? I always forget if it's edit light. Okay, edit light. Okay? 980, GAM 980. It is surprise pink. Okay? That's pretty much what color it is. If VectorWorks didn't know what color it is, you know, if VectorWorks, you clicked on it, you go, that doesn't look right. If I double-click on this, I get this. If you're familiar with Photoshop, you're pretty used to this. And
the color wheel.
Color wheel. So I can say it's more of a blue and it's kind of darker. Okay? And that will override. Okay? I'm going to hit cancel because I do not want to change what 980 is because I know because it's correct on what 980 is. Okay? You can also ask it to cast shadows. Okay? You should. That'll create shadows. You can also add fog by clicking light fog. Okay? I have no idea how this is going to look with fog. Let's find out. Okay? By the way, is your show going to have fog in it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then your show can have fog in it.
I'm allowed to decide whether that's going to happen.
Does it do haze too?
The fog is haze for this. For the purposes of this, fog and haze are exactly the same thing. Because Vectorworks is not that sophisticated yet. By the way, this is pretty sophisticated. I mean, I hope you guys are getting this. And there, look at it with haze. Except I only put haze on one light. Yes.
That takes
Can
skill.
you move the camera in there?
Oh, yeah. Well, I set that up first, remember?
So you can do it now,
Now
but it
it's
would
teaching us how okay, there we
Okay.
go. You should totally like zoom in real close. Do it. Be on
So all
stage.
that texture was
Be
that
on
from
stage,
what you
Chris.
put on the walls and stuff?
Yes. This is very textured because the files that create the look are very textured. Your set is not nearly as textured. The Irma Vep set is not nearly as textured. Okay. This was supposed to look like a seedy, worm-eaten, dry-rotted basement. Yes.
I've messed around with the rendering, and if you go into OpenGL, then you can move around without having to render again.
But it's not as high quality of a rendering. Yeah. OpenGL is a quick rendering, which again, there's nothing wrong with using. So what he's talking about is View rendering OpenGL. OpenGL is a lower quality rendering. Okay, I don't know if we'll have fog in this one. Okay. And it's drawn. Remember, Robbie was saying he could do this in 15 minutes. Okay, so the fact that it takes the computer a minute or two to work, grab a sandwich, unless you're, and it crashed. Okay.
Now you can go back. Sorry.
Huh?
Now you can go grab that.
So hold the video.
Okay. Yeah. So this, by the way, that's why I said do a save as, just in case. Okay. Okay. And I bet I don't have, so I need to recreate my view. So good. This is a nice review, even on the video. We're going to. What's the blue thing? The purple line up the middle?
No, the blue thing on the floor.
Oh, that's your floor plane.
Okay.
That's so you know where the floor is. View, projection, perspective. Okay. So for next week, for a week from today, you guys are supposed to be coming in with a digital rendering. Like on a flash drive, and we're going to look at them in class. Huh? I mean, the cool thing is, if you do it, then you are kind of like got a big chunk of your project done. And turn the pit back on, and we'll save this. Okay, and file, view, save view. This is, I'm going to save this quickly. Okay, so we asked about whether it can, so I'm going to just turn on, actually I'm going to, for those of you that were not familiar with this show, it had a slip stage in it. Let's put the slip stage in its other position. two walls that moved. And house. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to quickly just select some of these lights. I wish I could remember, because not all these lights went with this set. But I know I opened this one scene with these lights on. Okay, so I'm going to edit the lights. Color came up, fantastic. But I don't think I want them at full brightness. I would like them at 65%. Okay, shadows are fine. Click OK. And I am going to not do this in perspective because that might be why this is crashing. View, rendering, we're going to go to Fast RenderWorks. Okay, so at the moment this is not in perspective. You guys should do yours in perspective. Wow, that's really crappy. Oh, whoops, I have a wall that needs to be gone. Yeah, that's like black. Oh, you know what? Huh! They're not on. Okay, now, so you gotta turn them on. Don't forget to turn the lights on. View, rendering, Fast RenderWorks. Oh, this still has an extra wall in place. Okay? And there you can see, let me get rid of the extra wall. Oh, my focus points.
Why does Vectorworks create these 3D objects? I don't understand.
Because they have to be a 3D object. Because they have a specific place in 3 dimensions. Okay?
So can you set up cues in here that is like, okay, these lights are on, and go to a different cue, these lights are on now?
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 answers. Yes, you can. But we're not going to be doing that. You guys
Okay,
have to do
I was
one
just
digital rendering.
Wondering if Vectorworks had that. I mean, it makes sense that they would.
Yeah. I have no idea where that wall is. There it is. Okay, so there is the dining room set. Okay? With just top light. And you can see it's calculated the shadows underneath. Okay? So that's kind of how I want my top light. Let me add some front light to that. Okay?
Was that floor wood?
No, it's a rough wooden floor. I'm going to go ahead and save this view. Save view. Quick rend. Okay? So that has my backlight. And I recommend when you guys are building a queue, just like you would build a queue in real life, figure out which lights are the most important, set them first. Then, figure out which lights are the next important, set them next, okay? I have no clue. How do you do shutters? Okay, well, we're going to turn this light on here.
The old lights?
Yes, these are the old lights. We did not have the source force yet. Okay. So I'm going to turn this light on, because I want to use this light, and I want to edit it. Okay? I do want this on at full, that's great. Okay? That looks good. Okay, the other thing I can do besides edit the light is properties of the light. Okay, when I click on properties, hey, maybe they are under edit.
No, back here, you're looking for shutters, right?
Yeah.
I saw a top shutter angle when you were.
Yeah, but there's a cooler way to do it. So, it's under edit, not edit light. Thank you. Okay, so shutters. Okay. I can adjust these things. Oh yeah, it needs to be at an angle. Let's Bring this one in. It needs to be at a bit of an angle. Okay. Click OK.
And it's even flipped like they are.
And they're even flipped like they are in real life. Okay, the light is on. And let's take a look at this. Quick rendering. Okay, and look, you can see the shutters in it. Okay, you guys need to have one digital rendering for next week. Okay.
I'm gonna have like 12.
Okay.
She's excited.
Okay. What I want to tell you about doing the digital renderings is you can spend hours doing these. Don't. Okay? Get yourself a really good digital rendering. When you have a digital rendering that is perfect, that this is the one you want to hand in for your project, please, you have the view set up. It should be perspective. It should have people on it. It should not have focus points on it. By the way, if your focus points are, if you can't turn your focus points off without turning something else off that you don't want to turn off, put your focus points on a different class. Don't delete your focus points. If you delete your focus points, they go away. Okay? And the lights don't know where to point. Okay? Which I've done. Okay? So you can spend lots of time on this. Okay, what I want to do is I'm going to run one of these at final quality so that you can see. Rendering, final quality RenderWorks. Okay. This is going to take a little bit of time. When you have it exactly the way you want it. Oh, actually, this isn't taking that long. Okay. And that's pretty accurate. That's what it looks like. Yeah. Okay. This is really cool. When you have the one that you want me to grade for your final project, please do a view, save view, and please call it, when you have it looking on the screen, exactly the way you want me to grade it. Hey, Chris, look at this. That works. Okay? And look, there it is. Hey, Chris, look at this. Or, even better, an even better thing to do is to export this as a PDF. So it's just a picture file. Okay? Now, here's my piece of paper, and you go, oh, this isn't going to fit nicely on my piece of paper. You guys probably can't see it. Can you guys barely see the piece of paper? Okay? What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to show you another way to do an image export. File, export, and you want to export an image file. Draw marquee, that means it's going to marquee as a box. So draw marquee, and I want to export, and I draw a box and say that's what I want you to export. Okay? JPEG 2000 is what it defaults to. JPEG 2000 is a lousy file format that nothing can read. Okay, please change it to JPEG. Okay, I'm the one grading this, so I can open just about anything. But okay, JPEG. Click Save. It's going to ask you to name it. I'm going to put it on my desktop. Rendering. Okay, and then it's going to redraw it, and it's going to redraw it at a much higher quality than it's displaying it on your screen. Okay? And so you just have to be patient and wait for it. Don't start clicking everywhere, okay? What you can do, and by the way, this is not cheating. How many of you are good with Photoshop or GIMP or, okay? Huh? You are perfectly allowed to, when you get your image file, to zap it into Photoshop, GIMP, what other photo editing software is there?
PaintShop Pro.
PaintShop Pro. Okay?
PaintShop. Smiley face up at the top. That's all you can do.
But seriously, you can. Yes, Robbie.
What if you want your person to look like Drake?
Drake.
Oh, God.
What does that do though?
The artist, the rapper.
Oh, okay. What you can do is, I'm going to just show you on my screen somewhere. Desktop. Okay. Okay. Here's my rendering. Okay. I can take this into Photoshop. You can run all your Photoshop commands on it. If you think it would be really great to do a rendering and then put a fancy border around it that you can do in Photoshop, you can do that. You should label what scene it is. Okay? You might want to apply some filters. You might want to adjust contrast. Okay?
The lights don't desaturate it enough just to do Photoshop.
Take a picture, Instagram it.
Okay. Here's the deal. Vectorworks is pretty cool, but it is a limited program. Okay? The other thing, what is the purpose of a rendering?
To show an idea.
To show an idea to who? Yourself? No, to someone else. So if you think that this doesn't do a great job of showing what you want it to be, go into Photoshop and edit it. Okay? That's actually not cheating. That's actually the way it's supposed to work. Does that make sense? Questions on digital rendering? So make sure when you're digital rendering, you are in perspective. Make sure that there is a person. Make sure it is a specific scene. Start with the lights that are most important for the composition and then add others. Okay? Adjust the color if you need to. How many of you have gobos that are super, 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 super duper important to a composition? Good. Gobos are very tricky. Gobos usually do not render in Vectorworks very well. And I can tell you that in my years of using Vectorworks, I have gotten one gobo texture to load automatically by typing in the gobo and it fitted in correctly. Most of the time, I just try to avoid stuff with gobos, or I go into Photoshop and create the gobos. Okay? Yeah, you might be able to do that. Okay? Okay? But yes, the whole purpose of a rendering is to show someone else the way you think the show is going to look. Now, one of the things I grade your renderings on for the final project is I look at your light plot, I look at your rendering and go, could you actually make that happen on stage? Looking at your color choices, looking at your light plot, and I go, yeah, that would work. Or, you know. For example, I would probably criticize myself because look at that beautiful sharp shutter cut. These lights that we had at this point did not do gorgeous soft shutter cut or sharp shutter cuts. Okay? They didn't. It was just impossible. With the lights you guys have, you can do beautiful sharp shutter cuts. Okay? Questions? Yes.
What happened to all those lights?
Someone bought them. Someone whose lights were even worse than ours. I'll tell you that we kept about 25 of them, which we stripped down for parts, because the lights haven't been made in 10 years, and they don't make parts for them anymore. And so I wouldn't be surprised if someone bought them for parts because we saved 20 for parts. Because we still have those type of lights in the studio theater, so. It's back. I haven't found out what it cost me yet, but we got speaking with the RoboScans, we got a letter that when the RoboScans came back that said Martin, the manufacturer, is ceasing production of replacement parts in 4 months. Huh? So, you know, that means I need to think about how long those are with us in this world. Because in 4 months I can't get replacement parts. If I can't get replacement parts, I can't fix them.
Well, what if there's somebody somewhere that kept a few for parts?
Do you know what they sell those parts when you are the one who has the parts and you own them? What you can sell them for on eBay? Uh-huh.
So is that what you're going to do with these ones? Stricken gems?
We're not allowed to do that. Okay. Any questions on digital rendering? Okay. Your digital rendering needs to be of a specific moment of the show. And it needs to be labeled, which is the other reason I suggest going in and doing it in Photoshop. Or export it and title it, you know, Irma Vep page 14. Okay? Make sense? Questions? This is due a week from today. There was a whole panic attack for people who didn't do the stuff for today because they didn't look at the syllabus. And it's my fault, apparently, because I didn't say it was due. At least that's what someone told me. A week from today, this is due. And everyone wants to see these. We're going to put these up so everyone can see them. Okay? These renderings should be really cool.
Mine's going to have
Okay.
let people
Of what?
of power.